What's up, listeners? This is your co-host, Megan, on the first episode of our podcast, Trios and Tribulations, where we talk about our lives, high school life, and everything in between. So, go ahead, introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm William. I'm a co-host here on this podcast, and I'm a junior.
And I'm Max Decker, the final, third, and best co-host. So, Meg, what's our first episode going to be about today?
Our first episode today is going to be about our experiences during freshman year and just kind of like the early stages of high school. So, gonna give out some advice, tell some anecdotes, all the things.
And to kick things off, let me just ask, what was y'all's first impression of school? Like, the first day you walked into school, what did you first think?
Honestly, okay, when I first walked into school, I was really intimidated and I was so scared because I had this whole idea built up in my mind about high school and who I would be and who my friends would be and all of that. So I just remember being absolutely horrified. And since it was in the old building, because it was 2021, it was really okay, I thought it would be a lot more
nice.
Pretty. Yes, nice. Yes, nice. But it was really dirty. And I was like, wow, this is not the High School Musical life I wanted. Because I don't know if anyone remembers, everything was gray or brown, basically, in color.
Like the bricks.
Yeah, the whole entire school was gray and brown, all the lockers. It was interesting.
They never cleaned the floors either. I remember going to that school. My first class was math class, and there was just hair and stuff all over the floor. First day of school, and
just
they
hair.
Hair?
Yeah.
Hair?
My first
Hair
class
and dirt.
was it was Fly, so it was a good way to
oh yeah.
I guess settle into high school. Fly was probably my favorite class as a freshman, honestly.
I think so too. It was no homework. That was the best part.
Yeah, it was study hall with you could also have some community building, and I felt very emotionally connected, I guess, to my classmates and my peers. So.
Yeah, I also expected it to be some High School Musical type of thing.
It was not.
But my first year of high school was online, so everything you just talked about, I didn't even have. I literally showed up to class with my camera off, mic off, just acted like I wasn't even in class. Sometimes they called my name because I wasn't paying attention and I didn't want to have to answer any questions, right? So the entire time, my whole freshman year, the first time I went to class, it was always just me sitting there, listening to a teacher explain, yeah, we're gonna be going over this is the syllabus, and the whole time, I was playing video games, while they weren't listening. You know
what kind of video games do you play?
Man,
what
I don't
got
know.
you through it?
Well, at the time, probably Clash Royale.
Clash Royale. Clash Royale was a good one. Back in middle school, I used to play that all the time.
Yeah, that
Clash
was a good
Royale.
time killer.
Clash
for the
Royale.
time.
You ever play Clash Royale?
I don't think I've ever played Clash Royale. I think during the COVID days, I did play a lot of Minecraft.
Minecraft?
Uh-huh.
I used to get on Minecraft with my friends.
I would get on Minecraft.
Confessions. 14-year-old me was I
Seventh
was
grade,
grinding the
on
craft. Yeah.
I remember at Lincoln, I feel Clash Royale was a big thing when I was in my sophomore year when you guys were freshmen.
I agree. Yeah, no.
Did you
A
notice
bunch of
Clash
I feel
Royale?
the freshman boys were very
yeah, I
Clash
definitely
Royale,
played Clash
Royale.
Royale.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, what was the hardest thing for you guys to adjust to going into high school?
Oh my God! For me, it was definitely getting into a big school with 1,700 people. Cause came from a 200-person school, Gilkey.
It's a little bigger than that, I believe.
I don't think it's any bigger than 200
people. Looking at the statistics, I think it's a little bigger than 200 people.
Let's keep to my point.
Okay,
let's keep to my point. The point is Lincoln was big, and I didn't know anybody, and I just had to make a lot of friends.
How did you make friends?
One of the class that I made a lot of friends was, you were saying, Fly, because it built a real community, so I got real close with a lot of people.
Who was your Fly teacher?
My Fly teacher was actually Miss Hennessy, and she's just really nice
I love Miss Hennessy.
I'm still, I still talk to her in the hallways to this day.
Yeah. No,
Did you have Miss Hennessy?
I had Miss Hennessy for ethnic studies, which was another one of my favorite classes.
Yeah, I had her for both, so it was nice. I could I don't know, she just helped me out with both classes.
She was a great teacher, and I low-key wish I would have taken intro to ed so I could have Miss Hennessy again, because she's
really
phenomenal.
Good teacher, yeah.
She's an incredible human being.
The only teachers I still talk to that I had in my freshman year are Mr. Malvin and Mr. Hooper, because I took sign language up until this year when it's not available anymore.
Yeah.
Then Mr. Hooper I had for marketing last year, and I know he was my Fly teacher for freshman year, and he was just really funny, so I always mess with Mr. Hooper.
Honestly, adjusting to high school for me, coming out of West Sylvan, because I feel I was already used to big groups of people and clickiness and just that in general. I feel coming out of West Sylvan, it wasn't that big of a change, but definitely just going to school and knowing that I was in high school was always just kind of crazy to me. I guess because my 8th grade was online, so I have just a weird disconnect. I feel in my years of middle school. So part of me felt my freshman year was my 8th grade year.
Yeah, was it August or April 7th grade? We went online.
March, I think March 15th.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah,
Mid-March.
it was March of 8th grade for me, and that was also especially rough because when I moved here,
Yeah.
it was oh my God, But yeah, I just moved here when 8th grade started. So basically, I came into Lincoln High School like having no friends since I barely had any time to adjust to Portland, like coming from all the way like from a suburb in Washington, like a zero time to adjust. And then going to Lincoln was like all of a sudden like I had to do all this stuff. I have to worry about my GPA, I have to worry about my extracurriculars, but the whole time like it was online. Like didn't know anyone. So like for me, the hardest part of adjusting to high school is just like not knowing anyone. And I feel like that's more specific to me, but like I feel like a lot of students like coming into high school as well, like if they're new, they're not going to know anyone. So that's definitely the hardest part to adjust to.
Yeah. I feel like what you were mentioning about the GPA is something that like a lot of freshmen, including my freshman self, like never thought about. I never like freshman grades will come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
And like I made some mistakes freshman year, and I was like slacking a lot more than I should. And my biggest piece of advice to like all freshmen is just like focus on your GPA and keep it up.
Yeah, I did not realize like grades mattered. Like I always knew, like my mom always told me like just get good grades or like I'll get mad at you, right? So I was like, okay, fine, I'll get good grades so you don't get pissed off. But then like now that I'm applying to college and stuff, I'm realizing like, oh wait, they're like looking at my transcripts, they're looking at the classes I took, they're looking at my GPA.
They're looking like what grades you got in the class. And
yeah.
It's definitely a lot, and it makes you think a lot more about like how you should have like tried harder previously.
So how did you like when you got into school, like how did you meet people?
So I joined the soccer team. That was like the first thing I did, and we started our training in July. And I did have a bunch of my friends from when I went to West Sylvan, so that was, I guess, nice and definitely like an easier adjustment than like you, for example, who like was moving in during COVID. Yeah. From like Washington.
I moved in like right before COVID.
But still, like I feel like it's not like time to like meet people and interact. And
it definitely wasn't for me.
Yeah, and then so yeah, I basically met a bunch of people through soccer. That's how I got to know a lot of like some of my really good friends now I actually met through soccer.
Yeah.
And they went to different middle schools for me, and it was just a great way to like get involved, I guess, and just like go to the first day of school and like know that I was gonna have some like new friends and new experiences. Yeah. So.
Well, what about you? Because like you came from like a small, supposedly middle school.
Very
like,
small school.
Supposedly.
Nobody went to this school.
And then, so how'd you adjust to like life at Lincoln and like meeting new friends as a freshman?
I think the biggest thing was classes like this. Even I mean, Mass Comm, I met some of my greatest friends like you, Max, and
me
now Megan, yeah.
And
I think it's just classes like these are things that really help me like.
I love Mass Comms.
Oh, I love Mass Comm.
I love Mass Comms.
I love this class.
Listen, I'm an Oregonian published journalist, okay? So I think
he mentions that really actually quite frequently.
Okay, I don't mention it that much.
It was actually just a camp.
It comes up in every single conversation.
It does not.
It was actually just a camp.
Journalism conversation.
But
okay?
actually, in regards to Max, he is Pearl Rotary Student of the Month. So go check out the LHS cards post.
Check out the photo. It looks really good.
He looks fantastic.
Which actually kind of brings me to my next question.
I don't think it does.
What's your next question?
It does, because like I was gonna ask, like, when you came to high school, like, what did you think about extracurriculars? Like, what was your approach to like doing stuff?
I did not get involved. I joined student government. Guys, if you didn't know, I am junior class.
Oh, I knew.
I
knew.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes up in every conversation.
I am junior class wellness rep, but I was previously sophomore class wellness rep. So basically, at the end of freshman year, I just decided to like run on a whim.
You can be senior class wellness rep.
I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, maybe go for ASB.
I think I'm gonna go for ASB. We'll see. I don't know. But I didn't get really involved in any clubs. I did join Safer. For primarily, I just like loved their mission, and like a bunch of my friends joined it too. And I just think it's a really special club. But besides Safer, I didn't really join anything. Well, I feel like as time has like gone on and I've matured, I've started to be like, I really want to be involved. Yeah. Like this year, I signed up for like 10 clubs, and like. I'm in student government. I'm just like looking for more ways to like. Fair. Okay, well, I'm just like looking for more ways to get involved. While like previously, that was definitely not the case.
Yeah, I think for me, extracurriculars is what kind of like carried my high school experience. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my classes are fun, like Mass Comm, and like I'm in leadership this year with you, and it's really fun. But what really has been what really has gotten me like inspired academically is doing stuff like. That is extracurricular. So like Brothers of Color, now I'm president of that club. And when I first came in, it was just so inspiring to be around, you know, like my type of people, you know what I mean? People who I had common experiences with, you know, being biracial, and like also like joining Mass Comm, but then like kind of taking it more seriously, becoming an editor. Like that ended up making me like really inspired to like pursue journalism. So, you know, when I interned at Hood to Coast this summer, I was all about like, yeah, let me do the marketing, let me do the writing, let me do the social media content. So I just think that what's been good about Lincoln is like the fact that like we have like over like 90 clubs or something.
Yeah, no, we have a crazy. I feel like we might even have more than that this year.
I just think like what's good about high school and specifically Lincoln, I don't know about every other high school, is just like the fact that when you get in here, like it's more than just the classes, you know what I mean? Like there's all these extracurriculars and connections you can make. Like I also do work with like Word is Bond leadership program for young black men, and like I met them through Brothers of Color, and it's just been a great experience for me, like going to high school and like learning that there's more to school than just school. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, for me, rather than clubs, what I've been doing a lot of is just sports. You know, I joined the Lincoln water polo team.
You only play water polo.
I only play water polo, but I play it year round, and I think I just like got a really good.
I play soccer year round, guys.
Do you play any other sports?
I run track. I'm a varsity track athlete.
Yeah, but we
I
also
go to the Junior Olympics for water polo.
Okay.
You also know that I do the coolest sport in here.
He does kickboxing.
No, regular boxing.
No, sorry.
I do regular boxing, okay? Hey, it's great for discipline.
But what I was trying to say until Megan really interrupted me is I think
whatever.
sports are actually just the most important. I think it's really important. Now, that's another great way to get involved with extracurriculars and meet new people.
I did previously mention that starting soccer before freshman year was a pretty special experience for me.
Yeah.
Did I mention boxing was a really cool sport?
Yep, you actually did mention boxing. Thank you. It's okay. Kickboxers.
Max, have you ever actually fought somebody boxing though?
No, I don't like
Kickboxers
punching
represent.
people.
You've never fought people?
You should go try to join the MMA.
All right, so what do you guys wish you knew going into your freshman year?
Wake up, Will. Sorry, someone was asleep on the job.
No, I don't think. Yeah, but like, what do you both like? What did you wish you knew going into your freshman
How
year?
about you answer this question, Max?
Okay.
Me?
We're gonna start with Maximilian.
Yeah, I think Max should answer this question.
Okay, first of all, it's just Max. Okay, Maximilian is just
I
way
think
too extra.
Maximilian is like.
Maxwell. Is it Maxwell? My bad. I'll call you Maxwell.
No, on
I
my
will
birth
continue calling you Maximilian.
on my birth certificate is just Max. Okay.
That's not real.
What?
That's
It is
not a-
real.
it's not
I
a
have
real
my birth
name.
certificate on me right now.
No, you don't.
Okay, the point is.
You don't just name
You do
someone
not
Will,
have
you
your
name
birth
them William.
certificate on you.
The point is, all right, when I was coming into freshman year, what I wish I really knew is like kind of like time management. I feel like I always procrastinated like a lot, and I feel like everyone always talks about procrastinating, right? But for me, it was like really bad. Like I literally wouldn't do anything until the end of the quarter, every single quarter, right? So I would save every single assignment until the end of the quarter when my teacher was like, okay, can't do this, can't do that. And then I realized like, oh, wait, I'm so behind. And sometimes it would work, right? Sometimes I would be just fine. But for the most part, like all my classes, and I kept doing it until like probably last year's. Like I would always wait until the last second to just do any work. So I think if I were to know something going into high school, it would be don't procrastinate. Like lately what I've been doing is just like, okay, I have my time to do homework. Like I'll set like some time, like, look, I have a bunch of free time today. What I'm going to do is just spend like 1 or 2 hours, like just grinding out college apps or grinding out homework.
You know what's happening right now? You're putting me to sleep.
What?
But you know what I have been noticing about
Yeah,
procrastinating?
What have you noticed about procrastinating?
You know, I've noticed about
The fact that you
procrastinating.
do it and that's why you're always annoyed?
Last year, actually, I started procrastinating. So, because I got all A's my first semester, and then I just was like, I want to procrastinate. I'm not going to do any work. So I saved everything to the last end and then got a B in math. Was not happy about that. I
Wow, dude. Wow.
I know. It's a lot more interesting than hearing about your college apps.
I think that's interesting. I think
what I said was interesting.
I think it's interesting too. I think one of our further episodes will be about college. I think that would be great.
Oh, yeah, maybe it should be.
I think it should be too.
Anyways, Megan, what did you wish you knew?
I wish, obviously, as I previously said, I wish I would have gotten more involved with just like activities and extracurriculars earlier. And procrastination was probably my biggest problem freshman year, because that was always a tough one, and I would save everything to like the flex leading up to like the last like during like finals week. You know how there's like that like makeup period. Like I'd be like running around the school like talking to all my teachers, being like, please give me an A, please give me an A. Like worst strategy ever. How to set yourself up for failure. And I wish that I had a better I wish I was also better at my like time management between sports and school. Because that was definitely a problem where I'd be like, oh, well, I practiced tonight, so I can't do homework because I'll be too tired. And, like, that's still something I've seen in, like, my junior year where I'm like, I practice. Like, I don't want to go do my homework right now. And then I would just, like, end up coming home from practice and, like, falling asleep. So being a student-athlete before an athlete-student is always something I feel like freshmen especially have to remember. Because, like, starting high school sports where you're, like, practicing 5 days a week is, like, a big change. Like, before that, I would practice, like, 2-3 times a week, and now it's like 5 days a week. Like it's constant, so it's just like I feel like you have to.
Your teachers don't accommodate you.
Your teachers do not care.
Yeah, and that's just another reason why boxing is just like one of the coolest sports, because like really you can like just kind of do it on your own time.
Quiet coyote.
Silence.
What about you, Will? What did you wish you knew?
I already talked about. I wish I was not procrastinating as much when I was younger. starting out.
Come up with an original answer, why don't you?
Yeah, we literally both already
said that.
What I wish I knew when I started off high school, what I wish I knew. I wish I knew is I wish I would have started off in the gym, started working out. Before school started, before high school. I wish I started swimming.
Will, your figure hasn't changed since I first met you in freshman year.
That's actually
like
not
you're
true.
Built the same.
That's not true.
It's very true.
I weighed like 40 more pounds.
Okay.
Well, maybe have you considered the fact that you both grew, and that's why.
What are you trying to say about me?
No, what I'm saying is that like you both
actually weigh like 40 more pounds.
Like you both like height wise and like maturity wise, so it's like proportional.
Thank
Let's
you.
use our words. It's not slur.
Let's use our words.
Yeah, my bad. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
anyways,
I
don't think that's actually good advice because why would you wake up at like 5:30 in the morning to go to the gym?
There is no point to be working out before school, in my personal opinion.
I agree with that.
I know some people that do go to like the period 0 thing in the weight room. I don't know if you guys have like heard about that.
Or just like the Mac.
You can come in before
7.
school.
Oh, go to the Mac at 7.
Or like 24-hour fitness. Or
no, I also
I couldn't do that.
I couldn't either.
I hate being sweaty and then like going to school or like going to work or something. You know
that was my problem with freshman PE.
Yeah.
That is so gross. I had my first period.
And we couldn't shower.
I wouldn't use the school showers anyway.
Well, now
that's something you would do. Me personally, I don't think I ever would. But freshman PE, like I would be like grinding out a pacer. You know, I'd like be in the hundreds, so I'd be like dripping some sweat.
Oh yeah, because you were like that.
I was like that. I was on the power pacer wall in Mr. Huckett's class.
Whoa, now that's
wow.
Whoa, yeah, thank you.
I haven't been in PE since freshman year, and mine was online.
Wouldn't imagine you would.
So I wouldn't imagine you were like sweating.
Okay,
and, like, going
well,
crazy. And we had to do PE in our masks.
I have a
by
lot
the
of
way,
healthy,
if anyone remembers that.
I have a lot of healthy habits. Let me just say, and I eat very healthy. What do I eat for lunch?
Trail mix, apple chips, hummus.
Hey Max,
his hummus smelled so terrible, and the entire podcast room stunk for like 10 minutes because he was eating hummus.
Yeah, well, my bad. Okay, sometimes hummus doesn't store well. That's just a natural thing that happens. It's not my fault.
So was it
Did
old?
you just leave it outside?
No, it was literally just a little bit warm.
I think you're supposed to refrigerate it.
It was refrigerated until this morning.
I don't.
Max, you put it in a paper bag.
It smelled rancid. It did not smell like it was refrigerated.
Okay, well, it always smells rancid when it's warm.
Here's what I do with my hummus is I put it in the refrigerator so it doesn't go bad.
That's where I put my hummus too. But
that's also where I put my hummus.
That's where I put my hummus.
We can do, Max, you can get an ice pack and put it in your lunchbox.
That's what I'm thinking.
Wait.
You've never done
smart.
that? You're so
I've never put in. Wait, I didn't. That's actually really smart.
I used to like do that in like elementary school when I'd bring like vegetables to school or something like that. I'd have an ice pack.
Dude,
so
one thing I wish I'd have known going to freshman year was that I can put ice in my lunchbox.
Going into senior year, more like it.
Yeah, well, my fault. Okay, we're all at different places.
Yeah,
we're all
you're
at different
definitely
places.
A little bit below.
I think that is a good thing to know.
Wow, what academic toxicity, Will?
Yeah. Speaking of academic toxicity, I think that gets a lot more prevalent when you are not a freshman.
Oh yeah, and at Lincoln it's bad.
At Lincoln it is bad. Like comparing test scores and just like I feel like the fact that our class rank is visible causes a lot of like awkwardness and like tension. And I feel like you could choose to ignore it, but I don't know.
But yeah, like seeing your class rank and just like the way people talk about like taking tests and like try to look at
what's your class rank?
It's very humbling.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, it makes me feel like, man, maybe, you know, like I'm just not that cool, you know what I mean? Even though like we all know like Max Decker's the coolest.
Max Decker is the coolest student at Lincoln High School.
Yeah, I mean, most recent student of the month, what can I say? But like, yeah, you know, just seeing my class rank and I'm really not the highest up there, you know what I mean?
I think it's so bad for like, especially just like
children's self-esteem.
Exactly. Children's self-esteem. You should not be ranking with other people, like depending on like your intelligence, but not even just like, I feel like it doesn't reflect your intelligence. Like school is all about like effort and how you're like applying yourself. So it's not even really like how smart you are. It's like the grades you're getting in this like system, which is like rigged for like failure.
The thing about me is like my GPA really is not bad. Like it's an A average, but I still am like low in the class ranking just because Lincoln is like so academically like toxic.
I know, that is the same thing for me. You could probably honestly at this point have a 4.0 and be like 100.
Dang, so we talked about hummus, we talked about academic toxicity, we talked about PE.
Yeah, we did.
Like, man,
we talked about freshman year.
I feel like we talked about everything that you do as a freshman, like hummus and all that. Like
hummus.
We covered every base.
Yeah, we did. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Peace.
Thank you all so much for listening. Bye-bye. Peace. This was Max Decker, Student of the Month.
William, your favorite student here on this podcast.
Music courtesy of Samuel Hall. This was a Cardinal Times production.